Welcome to LDI 111. This LDI is based upon bag C and bag D that we saw back in example 5. Okay, so if you got a chance, you might want to open your book and go back and take a look at example 1.5. And if not, you can just keep watching here and make sure you can follow along with what I'm doing. All right. So let's see, it's on page 34 of our textbook. It's LDI 111, p-value for one-sided rejection region to the left. Okay, so consider again the two bags, bag C and bag D, from example 1.5. You're allowed to select just one voucher from the shown bag, and you must decide to accept or reject the null. So let's, in take one of this, let's suppose that the observed voucher was $2. Find the corresponding p-value, and then for the following level of significance, or following significance levels, are the data statistically significant. Okay, so we're going to start off with this one right here, an A, which the observed value was $2. That's the main thing. All right, so let's go back to our graphs. So in our first case, in part A, the observed value, right here, or OBS for observed, was $2. Now remember, how do you calculate a p-value? Well, turns out you already know how to do it because you know how to calculate alpha. Calculating alpha and calculating the p-value are just two sides of the same coin. It's just that in the case of calculating alpha, it's based upon a predefined decision rule. When you calculate the p-value, it's based upon your observed value. Okay, so now hopefully from the previous work of this example, you recognize that this has got a one-sided to the left direction of extreme. Okay, review the earlier LDIs if you need to remember how to do that. All right. So if I'm going to calculate the p-value just like I did alpha, then notice I'm going to go calculate that away to find out what my level of significance is based upon my observed value. So notice that I have 1, 2, 3 values out of 15, or 3/15, or let's see, 3/15 reduces to 1/5, or 20%. Okay, so back over here, we're going to come up with a p-value. Let's go ahead and type that in right here. The p-value, put a hyphen in there, equals 20%. Okay, or 0.2. All right, so now let's come down here and let's make ourselves a little chart off to the side here, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to write down p-val. Let's do it in lowercase. So p-val, okay, and scroll on over here, and we're going to do alpha. Okay, oh, again, I should do it in lowercase. Stay consistent, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and mark down our p-value that we just discovered. Okay, now our p-value that we just discovered was 20%, or 0.2. Okay, now in the first decision rule, you notice that these are all alphas here. When they say significance level, don't forget that they may not meant alpha by that. Our first significance level, or our first alpha, was 0.10 in this table. Okay, so now which would be the proper inequality sign to put between these two numbers? Well, hopefully you see quickly that it would be a greater than. And the same thing would happen when I put in 0.05, which is this value that's in my table, right? Or 0.01. In every one of these cases, the p-value was greater than alpha. So I'm going to refer you back to page 32. If you need to, stop watching this right now and go open up page 32, which hopefully is already in your comp book. If it's not, it needs to be in there, and figure out what your decision is going to be here. They want to know for which of the following significance level are the data statistically significant. Well, if the p-value is greater than alpha, then the data are not statistically significant. So for every one, all three of these, the answer is going to be no. It is not statistically significant. Why? Well, because the p-value is greater than the level of significance for all three of these. Okay, so it's not statistically significant if you chose an alpha of 10%, 5%, or 1%. Okay? All right, hopefully that all makes sense. I'm going to get rid of all of this shenanigans. Let's start over here, and let's go take a look at part B. Okay? Now in part B, suppose that the observed voucher is $1. Find the corresponding p-value for the following significance levels are the data statistically significant. So I'm going to repeat this whole problem all over again. Let's go up here and get rid of all of our previous writing. Okay, so now $1 is our observed value. Okay, so if that's my observed value, recall again that to calculate my p-value, I'm going to do it just like I was calculating alpha. So it's going to be what? 1/15th, right? Or 0.067 if you go out 3 places. So back here, I'm going to type up what our p-value would be. We get that the p-value equals, well, it's what, 6.7%? If I was to type it up in percentage-wise, okay? So let's do the same thing that we did before, same trick. Let's set up 2 columns here. Let's set up a p-value column. And let's set up alpha. Do it in lowercase again. And let's go ahead. Where are you? And let's go ahead and write down our value of the p-value. So we got that it was 1/15th, or you can go check it on your calculator. It's 0.067 out to take it out to 3 places. Okay. All right. Excuse me. So let's go take a look at our different significance levels. Well, the first one was what? 0.10. That's corresponding to this one, right? These are levels of alpha. Okay. Remember doing the same thing as before. Or it's 0.05, or it's 0.01. Okay. So in the first case, the p-value was what? Well, the p-value, that's 6.7% versus 10%, so that's less than, isn't it? Okay. So in that case, where the p-value is less than alpha, then the data are statistically significant. Okay. If the p-value is less than alpha, the data is statistically significant. Again, page 32 of the textbook. Make sure you understand that gray box on the bottom of page 32. So in this case, the answer would be yes. In all of the other cases, though, notice 6.7% is bigger than 5% and bigger than 1%. So in these cases, no, the data is not statistically significant. All right, that was a mouthful. That was a lot of information real quick. You might want to watch this one a couple times and make sure you got page 32 copied into your comp book. And again, one more time, any questions, feel free to post those.